Truth courtship finally exposed. Worse than imagined. Kody and Robyn Brown's destructive finally exposed. Excited kids to sue TLC. Hello, everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone has having a wonderful day after watching these videos. Stay with us to see the excellent news of sister wives. Please hit the subscribe button and watching this video. Every once in a while there is someone in the Brown family that says something and finally someone is saying it. We have had people from the AUB. We've had people from their world and their extended family that have spoken sort of like off the record or as an anonymous source telling the truth about what was going on in the family without putting their faces out there. It's very rare that you see someone in this family actually put themselves out there in Kody Brown's nephew, Benjamin Brown, who is his brother Scott's son, and his brother Scott is Kody's older brother who lives up in Wyoming and has the compound that they all live at. It was the compound that was owned by Robyn Brown and was where Kody grew up. The ranch, and Scott lives up there still. And his son Ben has left the cult and he went to college and he is an ex-Mormon now. He doesn't follow any of these faith systems and he has been watching the first season and he has had a lot to say. And something that he recently said on one of his TikToks actually was like, finally someone in this family is saying it. Finally someone is acknowledging it. And whether you agree with him or not, whether you like it or not, it's very factual. He also had quite a bit to say about Robyn and about Kody, which from the very first season kind of paints a picture of why things happened the way that they did, about how he spoke about Kody forcing his mistress into the family and then Robyn coming into the family and the sort of upheaval that happened around it. But he gets into some of the red flags that a lot of us have actually spoken about on the seasons about Robyn that never sat well with us, that he's seen as someone who lived in this lifestyle and that grew up in the system. So he sees firsthand what this person is doing. He took issues specifically with the fact that Robyn, before she was even married to Kody, declared that Kody was her soulmate and that he was her soulmate. And he shared a story about a dream that's from the Mormon faith about soulmates. It has to do with why polygamy was required. It's a long, convoluted story about how a third of the men were cast out by Satan and left a bunch of women up in heaven in their spirit form, pre-mortal existent, without a soulmate. And so there was these spirit baby girls up in heaven that had lost their soulmates. And so they were handed out to another man that already had a soulmate up there with him. The soulmate is considered the primary partner of that person. So Robyn was declaring that she was the primary partner of Kody before she actually was a part of the family, which is kind of gross, Ben said. And so I don't know exactly what Robyn means when she says soulmate, but I know what I was raised to believe soulmate was. And so I grew up believing that the someone's soulmate was kind of their primary partner, right? That first spirit connection that they had. And then the other wives were the ones that had lost their partners and got grafted on as sort of like a bonus. Now, there was some disagreement over who the primary spirit girl was in my family. Some arguments of whether it was my mom or my other mom. But it was pretty clear for my grandpa. My grandpa, Kody's dad, had 3 wives. And it was obvious to everyone who grew up on the ranch who his favorite wife was. It was the wife where he kept all his John Wayne movies. Guys, Ben shared this story because Robyn said when Kody and her were still dating, and he was going down to visit her in St. George, that Kody was her soulmate. And he didn't like that she said that because in this belief system, under their belief, the primary soulmate is the number one partner and everyone else is a bonus. She was walking into the family already believing she was better than everyone else because Kody was her soulmate, declaring Kody her soulmate. And I don't know if Kody felt the same way, but the fact that she came in with that attitude, and this was actually never explained by anyone. I didn't even know if this was like something to be upset about until he told the story. And I was like, wow, she literally walked in acting like she had a premortal connection to Kody above everyone else. Which kind of explains to me why she had this entitled feeling the entire time she was in the family. Like, he's my soulmate. He's not your soulmate. I'm the primary soulmate. You're the bonuses. It's so gross when you actually put it in that context. And mind you, he's very, then it's very clear that a lot of what is happening here is a byproduct of their faith and that the system is the problem. And so it's not that. Yes, Robyn is being manipulative and she's being abusive through the system. The core of the system is the problem. Like she wouldn't necessarily be that way without that belief system. Because she has to be that way in some way. Because I'm sure she has to, like, fight for her own survival and the rights of her children. But he also took aim with what happened regarding the kiss between Kody and Robyn, Ben said. And the thing about the kiss that was really weird to me actually was the conversation, because Robyn's talking about how she hurt Christine and Christine is fine and Robyn is crying. And that sort of felt really uncomfortably familiar to me because I've been in dynamics with people where when I would bring up something that they had done that had hurt me, they would have a big, strong emotional reaction to that. And then I would end up comforting them, forgiving, telling them that my feelings were hurt. It's manipulative. It's insincere. It's not cool. Also, at that moment, I was watching this with my son, and he popped up, and he was just like, it seems like there shouldn't be this much crying. In a happy family, and I agree completely, polygamy is not. Guys. So Kody and Robyn sealed their engagement with a kiss, and this is completely taboo in this culture. You're not supposed to kiss before you're married over the altar. And Kody decided that he was going to kiss her. And Christine expresses her frustration or sadness and her anger about it. And instead of Robyn apologizing to Christine, she cries about her hurting Christine and how she didn't realize it was going to be painful for her too. Like she's the one that kissed Kody, knew it was against their faith, knew it was against the rules. And then she's the one crying because then she can get Christine to apologize to her for making her feel sad about what Robyn did to her. It is very manipulative. And it's very much how a narcissistic woman who's a covert narcissist might actually manipulate someone by crying in order to make them feel like they should be apologized. She's reversing victim-perpetrator. She's darvoing Christine, and it is wrong, and it is manipulative. And then he goes further in another video when he's talking about Christine's birth, and he's calling out Robyn again, basically saying like, you already knew that this hurt her, right? You knew that it hurt her to kiss him before you were married. You're still not married, and you're still kissing him. And you're doing it while she's in labor. You're not showing her any respect. You're not being respectful of their commitment. You're not honoring their relationship. You're not honoring your faith. So it kind of speaks to the fact of what he was saying before about how if Robyn walked into the family believing that she was the soulmate above all others, she likely didn't have respect for the women because she felt they were the bonus. Like, well, you're just the bonus woman. You're not the primary. I'm the primary. And so you guys can all bend to me. She already had that queen bee mentality because she kept doing things that were intentionally hurting people, knowing full well it would hurt them and not doing anything to stop it. Because she believed Kody was her soulmate. And she probably told that to Kody. And so maybe Kody believed it too. I don't know. But at the end of the episode, where he was watching Christine's birth, he actually goes off on Kody and TLC and says that his cousins should sue TLC. Ben said, the worst part of this episode is when Kody unintentionally, I think, acknowledges what this is all about when he says that's the business I'm in. Kids, and hearing Kody say that it on a show that is being televised nationally, exploiting his children for money was pretty fucking gross their entire childhood. Got blasted on national television, and I doubt they made any money from it. I'm actually also really pissed at TLC for that too. Like TLC should be ashamed for doing that. For exploiting children in that way, 'cause you knew TLC. You had to know, TLC producers, what you were filming and what you were doing. How dare you? If I were my cousins, I would be in talks with an attorney about filing a lawsuit against TLC because that is gross exploitation of children. The most private, intimate first moment of her life was filmed and then put on national television without her consent. I think that is disgusting. I think that's exploitation. I think that's labor traffic, guys. One of Ben's key talking points when he's unraveling and sort of deconstructing his belief system And coming out of the trauma of his life is this concept of labor trafficking that happens in polygamy. And he, as a child, was forced to work in his father's bakery in lieu of going to school, and was working for no money, next to no money for his dad, and received a very poor education, went through all kinds of injuries, and didn't understand until he was in his 30s that what his dad was doing was actually labor trafficking him. Because his dad had the kids working in the bakery versus hiring people to actually make the food and make the bread and make the baked goods for the shop. Instead of hiring employees, he used his kids as free labor. And so part of his trauma of healing from labor trafficking is obviously talking about it. And something that he didn't like is when Kody was at the end of the episode and he's talking about babies and he's talking about possible IVF for Meri, and he tells the doctor that he's in the business of babies, and he related that to his childhood of, yeah, my dad looked at children as a business too. Like we all worked for him. All 16 of us kids at some point in our lives helped him and provided free labor for his bakery. Now the difference for Ben and that his kid and his siblings is that they weren't put out onto national television without their consent and forced to have their childhoods blasted and become tabloid fodder and become public faces of polygamy. And so for Ben, it's basically saying really, Kody's no better than my dad. He's exploiting his kids. He's trafficking his children. He's labor trafficking them through a show where he's the one that benefits from this financially, not the kids. The kids are working for the show, but they're not getting paid. And they haven't been paid, by the way. They don't get paid. Even the adult children don't get paid. And he said Kody and his wives had a choice. They were doing this for God, the righteous for God, to show polygamy for being, not bad or whatever. But the kids didn't have a choice. And I want to be clear that, Ben criticizes Robyn, but he equally goes after Kody. Kody making his daughters babysit for Robyn's kids before they were married. Kody making his daughters plan Robyn's birthday party. Kody bringing Robyn into the family and forcing everyone to accept her. Kody not respecting Christine. Kody not respecting Meri. Kody not respecting Janelle. Kody having everyone say that he is a good dad, but not showing anyone that he's a good dad. His criticism of Kody is consistent. And he even said that he was glad that Christine got out of that marriage because obviously it was terrible the moment that Robyn stepped into the picture. No one from this family, even the kids, will sue because they don't want to affect their mom's money. So the kids know they weren't paid. The kids know that they were exploited. The kids know that they couldn't consent to any of it. They can consent or not consent as adults, which is why several of the adult children are never on the show anymore, because they don't want to be on the show. And because they're not getting paid. They don't want to be on a show about polygamy. They don't want to be a part of the filming family, so they can choose and opt out. But even those that are opting out will still not sue for their own rights because they don't want to impact their mom's jobs. There's a loyalty not only to Kody, but to their moms to protect the show. They all have things that they could say publicly that would end the show, but they won't because they don't want to impact their mom's bottom line. And for their moms, this is the first time even their moms are really seeing any fruits of the labor that they're receiving because they're finally getting their own paychecks. So they don't want to impact their moms because their moms were all, for intents and purposes, labor trafficked as well, because it was Kody and Robyn that benefited the most from the show. Because Robyn's never had to have a side hustle the way that Christine did, the way that Meri did, or the way that Janelle did. Meri was able to afford her life because she worked LuLaRoe and she had her in. She was bringing in tons of money for the family. Christine was doing Plexus, LuLaRoe. She's always had a million different side projects bringing in a ton of money. Janelle has had Strive and whatever different projects that she's did. She did real estate. They've all had to work to cover their own bills because the show wasn't covering their bills. And Kody allowed Robyn, because she was the, soulmate, to be a stay-at-home wife that he was a kept woman, and he made sure to keep her very happy with the money that he gave her. So Kody's labor trafficking extends not just to his children, but to the wives that weren't Robyn. But they're not going to sue, but they should. And Ben's right, they should sue. They should also sue Kody, not just TLC. And TLC knew what they were doing. They 100% knew what they were doing. And TLC bypasses all of it by saying, well, we didn't pay Kody, we didn't pay the kids. That was Kody's job. They have to sue Kody, not us. It's just disgusting. So yeah, someone in the family finally says it. Robyn is entitled. Robyn came in with entitlement. Robyn treated Christine terribly. Kody isn't a good dad. And Kody labor trafficked his kids, allegedly. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click on the bell so you never miss a video. Bye, guys.